Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to show you how I like to graft avocado trees. And we all know grafting and how it works and why we do it. Now I want to show you a way that I like to do it, and it's worked amazingly every single time. Got a great success rate. And but some of the first things to remember is your preparation. What do I mean by preparation? You need to have the things necessary, all right? Your shears, nice and sharp. They have to be clean, because I use these for everything. Pruning, cutting, trimming, chopping, cutting up worms, whatever. Clean it up. So what I like to use is hydrogen peroxide, okay? Or rubbing alcohol. Nothing too crazy. Just go in, get a little bit, pour it on your rag or paper towel, and clean it off. That's it. All you're doing is killing off any diseases that might be there. You don't want to transfer any bad diseases from one tree to another. And even though these haven't been used in a week, 2 weeks, a month, you know, bacteria still stays on the shears. So let's make sure they're nice and clean. Okay, a little quick rub down, good to go. Let it dry off. Things to have, so paper towel, hydrogen peroxide, or your rubbing alcohol, shears, wax tape, okay? Grafting tape, wax tape. It's very inexpensive, it's stretchy, all right? You can buy it at your nurseries or online. They all work. All you're doing is protecting a seal around your wound. And then you want to have your grafting knives. You do not need an exact grafting knife, okay? Same thing as your shears, your knife. You want to sterilize your blade, okay? Now, this is the grafting knife. Before I bought this, I've used a razor blade for many years. Then I wanted to act cool, and I got an actual knife. It does help. The reason why is because it's a single-sided blade, meaning that it's only sharp on one side, the other side is straight, okay? Versus a box cutter or a razor blade has two sharp edges, right? A knife, it has two sharp edges, one right here and one right here. So when you're making your cuts on your grafts, it's a little trickier. However, it does work no problem. Same thing as your shears. You want to go in and clean off, rub off any of your old dirt. Make sure that this is sharp. If it's not sharp, you ain't gonna go too far. All right, so now that you have everything prepped, there's one last super key. Simple, nothing crazy, a rubber band, all right? Pew! This rubber band is very important, and I'll show you why. Let's get to it. All right, so we all need to have a root stock. What is a root stock? So basically with our avocados, we get our avocado seed, right, that we eat, and then we start the seed, we peel off the seed, we start it in a cup of water with the 3 toothpick method, and then once the roots start to grow, then you transfer it into a pot, like so. Put it on a drip line, whatever. You can water it at home, take care of it. I have a lot of them, so I have it on a drip line automatically. And these are ready to go. Look how nice and big and tall they are. So we want to get one that's nice and healthy and big, right? So these are all looking great. I'm gonna go with something like this guy right here. That's not too big, not too small. These are all great. I will graft all of them, but I'm just gonna go with this guy. So we're gonna take off this. So this one looks good. Roots are nice and healthy. Let's see if I can do that. That looks good, right? Has 2 avocados coming out of it. All right, so now that we have our rootstock, we are gonna go and find, so this little baby guy you could cut off, rip off. You don't need it. Twist it, rip it off. and later I'll cut it a little better if needed, but it looks good. Now that we have our rootstock, we're gonna go find a scion, which is our budwood. All right, so as far as our rootstock, all right, which is our seed that we started off in the garage. I started this one maybe about 7-8 months ago from a seed that I ate an avocado from, and then it rooted, put it in the dirt, and it grew to about this size, which is about 16-18 inches right now, and it's doing quite well. So we want to make sure that our wood, our bud wood, is going to be pretty much the same size, diameter, thickness of this rootstock. So the rootstock has the seed right here. You want to cut anywhere between 4 to 6 inches off the seed. 4 to 6 inches, okay? You could also do it 2 inches, but who needs 2 inches? 6 inches at least, right? Chop it right here, and it's easier to work with. 4 inches does work, but it's delicate and it's hard to do your wraps. So let's go find the budwood now. So here is a Lamb Haas avocado that's multi-grafted. Okay, so I have another graft right here. This has a surprise graft on it. There's also another graft right here, which is a queen avocado graft. You can see the graft right there, okay? And lots of new baby shoots starting. Super healthy, happy. Oh, quick note, check out this guy. Okay, this is a Lamb Haas. I grafted about 4 years ago now. All right, grafted right there. And within 4 years, avocados. Here's a little label that I put, but it's not from this nursery. I did that myself. And we have more avocados. Check out this cluster. All right, so 4 years from the graft, we already have avocados. Check out the size. Look how small that is, right? It's about 3.5, 4 feet tall. It wasn't a 15-gallon pot like this one right here, but then I transferred it to a 28.5 gallon right there. This one right here, notice the difference. This one is not topped, okay? This one I topped it so it stays short and super bushy. However, it delays the growing process and fruiting process. This one's not topped and we already have fruit. This one also gives fruit now, obviously. However, it took a lot longer. So as far as the budwood goes, you want to find a nice, healthy, see, these are thick ones right here. You see how thick these are? So these I'm going to use for those other bigger branches, those other bigger rootstocks that I have. So I'm just going to go around and see which is a nice one. And you know what? I think I like this guy right here. It's not too thick. Maybe, let's see, maybe right here. I gotta look around. Look and find one that's good. These all look pretty good, but I want to find one that's nice and in a good position to cut. You want to make sure you have the buds. The best time to do this is right before, see, like this one would be great. It has a ton of little buds on it that are starting to pop out, but they haven't popped out yet. These little buds. That's what we call the budwood right there, right? But this is a queen avocado, and I do not want to, that's the graft I did last year, less than a year ago, so I don't want to chop that one yet. All right, well, let me find one and I'll bring you in a second. Okay, I found it. Here we go. I like this guy right here. All right, so you just go in Get about anywhere from 6 to 10 inches. Bring your shears right around there and chop. Okay. Here's our budwood. And let's go to our working table. All right, so now we have our scion, which is our trimming from our lamb Haas avocado that we just trimmed off. We have our rootstock and everything needed. So first off, let's prep our scion. The first thing you need to do is chop off all these leaves. So you could either clip them and just push them straight down. See how they fall off pretty easily, right? Or you could use your shears and cut them off first. All right, you cut them, and then the little stick, you pull those down and break them off like that. Whatever is easiest for you. All right, it doesn't matter. Okay, all that. So as you can see, the very tip right here has these last leaves right there. We don't even need those. We don't need those leaves. I like to go right between a couple of nodes and chop that guy off. That's all you have left, okay? Right here, there's some leaves already shooting out. We're gonna leave that. Prepping this guy, fairly easy. You grab your wax tape, and about 6 to 8 inches, break it off. I like to start from the bottom, and I hold firmly right here, and you pull a little bit and wrap. Pull and stretch and wrap. Pull and stretch and wrap. When you're doing this, you want to be very gentle on your buds, because, see those leaves? I've ripped those leaves off. You want to be gentle on these little buds, because those are what's going to rip through your wax paper when it starts to grow. Okay, so pull and wrap, pull and wrap. The reason why we're doing this is because you're going to maintain all the moisture on, oops, too hard, on this wood, okay, throughout the next several months. If it rips, it doesn't matter, just keep wrapping it over. Okay? Being a little too hard with it. But go like that. When you get to the top, you want to wrap the top over. So then I need a little bit more, grab a little bit more. There you go. And start right there and wrap and wrap, wrap, and then go over the top. Okay, and then I like to go back down a little bit just to hold it in place. Okay, so now this is ready to go. All right, ready to go. All this wax paper is going to maintain moisture inside of the wrap, okay? The wax paper is strong enough to withhold the moisture for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks until it gets brittle and it breaks off on its own. And at the same time, it's going to keep your scion fresh. If it dries up, if it gets exposed to too much sun, too much heat, the scion wood dries up, your buds die out, this turns brown, and it's dead. One sign to keep in mind of is that if it's green, it's alive, it's still growing, it's still attached. If it's brown, it died, right? So, no good. Now that we have this, we're going to grab our graft, our, what do you call it, our rootstock, and we're gonna find somewhere on this rootstock, same diameter size as this, more or less, all right? So I'm just gonna cut it right there. It doesn't have to be fancy. Rip off all these little leaves also, and we're gonna line it up to see where the similar same diameter sizes are, okay? So now that it's right around here, we're gonna chop it again. So here I have about 5 inches, let's say. The key here is to line up the cambrium layers. Okay, the cambrium layer is where all the nutrients travel, bark to bark, the veins of the tree. So we want to line it up, right? This top side right here, straight down the middle, and give it a little cut. Right down the middle, about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, even 1 inch. Do this gently. Sometimes you cut it and you cut 5, 6 inches, and that's no good. So here, I am about 3/4 of an inch down, okay? Go a little bit more, okay? Right down the middle. Time to prep this guy. I like to do the V shape, all right? So the buds are like this. I don't know if you can see the buds. So here's a bud right here, and here's one right here. Here's one right here, right? So I'm gonna go not on the bud side, but on the side of the buds with the V. And it doesn't matter where you start, but all you're doing is cutting off a V shape. So always do it away from you, not towards you. Okay, the first few cuts could be nice and strong. If you have your wax paper in the way, don't worry about it. You can peel some away if you want. All you want to do is have a nice, clean, fresh slice, okay? Right, just like that. Now that we have that, cut this little guy off right here. Don't need that. Don't touch the cambrium layer. Now that it's all clean, sterile, fresh, cut to cut, do not touch this with your fingers. Fingers have oil on them, bacteria, dirt. Don't want to touch that. I'm going to slide this right between the little cut we made, all right? Just like this. It already holds by itself, all right? Just like that. You want to push it down all the way down as much as you can, so it's in there nice and firm. Now that it's in there firmly, grab some more of our pretty little wax paper and start anywhere you want. I go right on it actually, and I wrap. And the same thing, you squeeze and wrap. Squeeze, pull, and wrap. Squeeze, pull, and wrap. Squeeze, pull, and wrap. Squeeze, pull, and wrap. Okay, that's literally it. I have a fly lingering on me. Now that this is on there, as long as the cambrium layer of your wood scion is touching the cambrium layer of your rootstock and it's on there, you will have a good blend, a good weld, let's call it, right? Now that this is there, technically you're done. You put a little label, say what kind of rootstock you have, which I don't even know. I think it was a Lamb Haas avocado that I had, and grew it in the garage. And then the scion, also Lamb Haas, right? This is the key. This is a huge factor. You get this. What I like to do with the rubber band is where the union is, we're gonna wrap it, okay? And the reason why is because I like to give it an extra pinch, and it's a hold. It holds it, it squeezes it for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. This also, just like the wax paper, will break off and come off on its own. So hold it right here, start from the bottom and wrap around. Wrap around, wrap around only on the rootstock side, okay? Not on the budwood side. Give it a few wraps just like that. And then, oops, that went onto the top, so. And then tie it off with a couple little knots. 1 and 2. That's it, you guys. That's it. See? Now what I'm gonna do with this, you could keep it literally under your shade cover. These do not need any sun to grow. In the shade, they grow fine for the next 5 years. But we don't wanna wait 5 years, because the longer it takes to get to the sun, the longer it's gonna take for avocados. This, I'm gonna grab it, I'm gonna leave it under my greenhouse, let's call it. It's a 30% shade cloth. I'm gonna put the drip line right back into it, where I took this from, put it right back into its spot. And we're gonna wait for the magic to happen. A little label that I'm gonna place is gonna give today's date, so I know when I grafted this, to see, hey, did it take me 3 weeks? Did it take me 6 months for the shoot to actually happen? And also, when you have a lot of them, you don't get confused on what is what. You want to make sure that each genetics is with one type. Lamb Haas, Reed, Fuerte, Pinkerton, all those good, delicious fruits that we love. We want to make sure which one it is, so that when we're planting them around the yard, A type, B type, you know how to plant accordingly. Anyways, I will give you a follow-up as soon as this starts to grow. Keep in mind, this needs to stay moist. It doesn't have to be wet and dripping, just moist, okay? Water every 2-3 days, whatever it is. If you're in the full-blown summer, you gotta water it more often. Winter, a lot less. You can leave this on your kitchen counter by the window. You can leave it in your bedroom by the window, in a bathroom by a window, or you can leave it outside on your patio, right here on the table. I can walk away and leave it here, and just water it every 2-3 days. Under here, even every 4 days, because this is a lot of soil in here. Keep it moist, keep an eye on it. Once it starts to grow, great success. That's what it is. Then you have to wait your 2 to 3 years, 5 years sometimes, and you'll actually have avocados. Do not top your avocado trees for the first 5 years. That little avocado tree that's about 4 foot tall, I have 10 avocados on there. I did not top that tree. And that tree is a Lamb Haas grafted by me, and I already have 10 avocados on it in less than 5 years. Then I have other trees that are 7 years old. I've topped them, and I never got avocados off of it. It all depends on what you're doing, how you're doing it, when you're grafting. There's a lot of things. Also the genetics, what type of avocado tree it is. Some produce every year heavily, some are alternating years. So there's a lot to look into this. However, as far as grafting goes, this is my method, and it works every time. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, type a little comment. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Happy gardening.